Hello there, I'm Phil and this is Dodec Builds. It's been a while since I've done a review, but I'm back here today to talk about the Mandalorian N-1 Starfighter. This is the Ultimate Collector Series set and it was released as part of the May the 4th celebrations in 2026. This was one of the LEGO Star Wars sets released in the run-up to the new Mandalorian and Grogu film. In the Star Wars world, this is essentially a turbocharged Naboo starfighter, and it made its first appearance in the Book of Boba Fett. This is set number 75442. It consists of 1,809 pieces and 2 minifigs. It costs £229.99 and it's a LEGO exclusive, so no deals at the moment. In the box you'll find 16 bags plus a separately packaged cockpit canopy. There's one instruction book which contains some backstory to the ship and the show, before it then gets on with the build instructions. The build time for this was roughly 5 hours, and for the most part it was a good experience. There's some great part use, and I'm really impressed with how they've achieved the kind of drooping wings on it. They're basically mounted on a kind of rocker, which then lock into place as the build goes on. It's a really effective way of achieving the effect. I did make a bit of a mistake in the build when putting the engines together. Purely my fault, basically not paying enough attention to the instructions, but it turned out that that was quite a structurally important piece and it kind of messed me up on the following bits until I got to the very end of that part and noticed I had a spare piece. So then I had to take the bits apart and get it back in, and lo and behold, it was nice and sturdy once I did that. I don't know if I've just got more tolerant or better at handling the stickers. Certainly I did a lot when I did the Shuttle Discovery recently, but I didn't actually find them too cumbersome in this build. And that's despite the fact you do need to line some of them up quite precisely. You see, you have them going over multiple parts. What I found was it was best to actually assemble those parts and then line up the stickers once that was done, whereas the instructions have you put the stickers on before attaching the part. It turns out that's definitely not the best way to do that. The stand for this is pretty standard for these types of sets, but it's good to see that the nameplate is printed rather than a sticker. The big stickers some of these have come with in the past have been a real pain to apply, because you end up with a bubble and it's such a big piece to try and flatten out properly and line up straight. Now, onto the finished set. I think this is an excellent looking ship once it's put together. There's good use of silver drum lacquer here, which represents the chromed parts of the Naboo fighter. The yellow strips that are left on here is a good nod to its origins before it got turbocharged. Overall, I much prefer this colour scheme though. The yellow is a bit garish. I love how the engines have different builds, basically representing that this was cobbled together from Jawa sourced parts. And there's a few other areas that aren't symmetrical as well. It's really well done. In particular, I like the way they've used droid parts to represent the kind of ribs of the ship on one side. The minifigs are who you'd expect for this set, the Mandalorian and Grogu of course. They're good figures, but there's nothing too exciting about them. The Mandalorian is basically the same one as you get for the keyring, just with a cloak here rather than his jetpack. Value for money wise, I think this is about right for a UCS fighter size set. Maybe there's an argument for it being closer to the price of the Interceptor UCS, but for me, I don't begrudge having paid what I paid. As it is, I could never justify to myself getting the UCS Razor Crest, but for this, it was a day one purchase. I just love the look of this ship. So that's that. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see what I have upcoming, click like and subscribe. Oh, and hit that bell notification. And that's that. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.